Spyro's back. Yes, after 8 years in the wilderness, Spyro the Dragon has returned with a brand new game, Spyro: A Realm Beyond. Our long national nightmare is over and Spyro has returned to the public conscience once again with a brand new game, and I am very excited about this, and I'm very excited to be here talking to you all today about this. Hello everyone, it's Nintendo Gen 64 here. It has been quite a long time since I sat here on camera talking about anything video game related, but I thought if anything could bring me out of my hibernation, it was the announcement of a brand new Spyro game. So let's have a chat about it. Let's dissect, let's analyze, let's go through every frame of that trailer. Well, look, before we do that, let's just quickly discuss the state of Spyro the Dragon, where Spyro has been these past 8 years, because when a Reignited Trilogy was announced back in 2018, it sparked a renewed interest in Spyro. Spyro had been dormant for quite some time, sort of stuck in the Skylanders universe, the Skylanders world. And so a Reignited Trilogy seemed like a really positive move for the franchise. It seemed like us as fans were getting what we wanted for many years, getting Spyro back in his 3D platforming roots. And I guess the thing with Reignited Trilogy was it was a way to remind the fans, remind people about what Spyro was. And of course we thought, okay, Reignited Trilogy, that's the start. What's next? Are we going to get another Spyro game in a couple of years? Well, a couple of years turned into 5 years, turned into 6 to 7 to 8 years. It's a long time between drinks, isn't it? And you know, COVID, the global pandemic, all of that, you know, you could blame longer development cycles, the ideology of what makes a AAA game in 2026 and how much content lead-in time and development time. We could talk about all that, but all I know, it's been way too long since we got a Spyro game, way too long since we got an original Spyro game, because as much fun as the Reignited Trilogy was, and as much as I think people were more excited for the fact that Spyro was back at the forefront of people's minds more than the actual game itself. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just the way I see it. It's been a long time since we had an original Spyro game. I remember the last time I sat on YouTube and covered a Spyro game, a new Spyro game. It was back in 2011. I was a 16-year-old, spotty-faced high school kid, and I was just ranting about how I didn't think Skylanders was a positive move for the Spyro franchise. I didn't think that getting your parents to buy toys and putting them on the little portal of power was a very ethical move. I thought it was just a cheap cash grab, and I wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with the Legend of Spyro, and to be honest, the last time I was, I guess, engaged actively with the Spyro franchise was back in, 2004 with A Hero's Tale. So, I mean, we are talking about 22 years since we had a Spyro, an original Spyro game on major consoles. It's been a long time, a very long time. And so I think A Realm Beyond is offering us hope for the first time, because I mean, look, we've had Spyro show up in things before. We've had him show up in Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. We've had little Easter eggs of Spyro in Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. We've had you know, Crash Team Rumble, Spyro was featured in a season of that. But I mean, other than these little crumbs, Spyro fans have been starving for quite some time. So now you see A Realm Beyond. Let's talk about what A Realm Beyond looks like. Let's talk about my thoughts on it, because 15 years ago when Skylanders came out, I was quite cynical, quite upset about it. How do I feel now seeing A Realm Beyond? And let's talk about the trailer too, and talk about the content that we've got so far. So A Realm Beyond, we've got the cinematic cutscene of Spyro running through some lands. Could be Peacekeepers, could be another area, could be, you know, maybe he's back in the Dragon Realms to start off with. And then the trailer transitions into Spyro flying through the air and free flying for the first time in an open space. And I think a few of us, an eyebrow was raised, because it looked, you know, maybe it was a flight level, maybe it was an actual gameplay element, maybe it was a temporary Superfly power up, maybe it was something like, you know, Banjo-Kazooie, where you could get your red feathers and fly around for a bit. But I read the article, the Activision, the Toys for Bob article. I'll put that up on the screen now so we can have a look at it together. But they said in the article that this was something that was conceived from the earliest prototypes, that they wanted Spyro to be able to take to the skies and soar at a moment's notice. And I think that's an interesting gameplay element, and I'm actually quite excited to see how this works, because, you know, I'm a platformer fan at heart. I love platformers. I love, you know, 3D platformers, the challenge of jumping around and, you know, exploring terrains and that sort of thing. But what I think makes a really good Spyro game is exploration. And seeing the trailer and just, you know, knowing some of the behind the scenes rumors and leaks that have come out for a while now, that this Spyro game was going to have more of a RPG style element to it, it gets me quite excited, because, you know, I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan, and I loved Breath of the Wild, I love Tears of the Kingdom, I love those open world areas that, you know, you have to explore, and I think something like this would be perfect for Spyro. I think having those RPG elements, having Spyro be able to explore huge open world lands, have a lot of collectibles, a lot of gems, I just think that's the way that we're heading with games. And look, would I have loved an original style Spyro game? Yeah, I would have too. I think that would have absolutely been something that I could have gotten around, and I think something I would have really loved. But I think the Reignited trilogy kind of proved to me that in 2026, in the current day, I think the general public would consider those games to be too small, not enough content maybe. I mean, you look at all the other trailers at the Xbox showcase today, and they're these first-person shooters, these big medieval-style open-world games. A traditional style Spyro game would have looked really out of place and would have been maybe considered more indie than AAA in the first place. But look, I think having Spyro be able to free fly is cool. I think there definitely will be platforming elements regardless. I think even if you have the ability to jump around and do whatever, if Spyro's core moveset is retained, I think people might find it even more convenient to like jump from platform to platform rather than engage a flight mode and then fly over there and do it. I think take the guardrails off. Let the players decide how they want to play this game. Let the players decide how Spyro controls, how he moves. Because I think we've seen that the control is at the heart, at the core, one of the most important things to Spyro. That's why I really never could get around Reignited trilogy. I thought that it removed some of the Spyro flow state that we came to know and love from the original games, and that was really great to see mentioned in the article too. The reference to this sort of flow state that Spyro has, and when you're playing Spyro, you get this sort of free-flowing movement. You know, I'm excited to see how that goes. I'm excited to see how the advertising, the marketing of this goes. But I'm really excited that Spyro is just back at the front of people's minds, back at the forefront of everyone's thoughts. So what does this mean now? Where are we going to go now? So we've had the trailer. We've had an article drop. The game will be released in spring of 2027. So that'll be what, autumn Australian time, so about 10 months from now, 8, 9, 10 months, something around that period. So that's a pretty decent window of release, a pretty decent time to get everyone excited. Grand Theft Auto 6 will have been well and truly out, so hopefully that doesn't eat Spyro's lunch, because I know, well, that's November 2026, and that's, you know, gonna destroy productivity when that game comes out. It's gonna stop the world. Everyone's gonna be playing Grand Theft Auto 6. So it's good that Spyro gets a little bit of that grace period, that lead-in time. So what does this mean for Nintendo Gen 64? Not that anyone asked, but I think if Spyro can come out of hibernation, I think it's time that I came out of hibernation. I think it's time that I started making videos again. You might see behind me, I've got a little video going here. I've been getting really into the Spyro fan gaming community, so maybe I'll start sharing some of the work that's going on there. Maybe I'll get around to doing LPs of the Spyro Reignited trilogy and re-examining them now that they're 8 years old. And maybe I'll get around to looking at some other Spyro games. Maybe I'll just dedicate my entire channel to Spyro. Who knows? The future is looking very bright, and I think the unknown is very exciting right now. So, as with Spyro, I might take my channel into a realm beyond. But thanks for sitting here and listening to my sort of uncollected thoughts. I'm very excited to see where this goes, very excited to be on this journey with everyone, and thank you very much for watching my video. Thanks for remembering me, and until next time, farewell for now, but not forever.